how you can properly progress your reps and sets when you are starting out. So when you are starting out, it may seem really, really overwhelming when you have a certain weight on the barbell or a certain weight on your machine and you're like, I have no idea what to do, right? There's so many different ways that I can progress this. There's people adding 20 pounds, there's people adding 10 pounds. Should I even add any weight, right? So I'm gonna hopefully break this down for you, looking at it from the lens of a bench press workout. I'm gonna be saying bench press quite a bit, but this can essentially apply for a lot of your big strength movements like a deadlift, like a squat, like an overhead press, like a barbell row, all these different things. And even machines, right? You could even apply this to machines as well. So when we are looking at strength, what I usually recommend for people is doing what's called a 5x5 program. So when it comes to these, specifically when we're looking at it with a barbell, you're going to start with just the bar on the movement for 5 sets of 5 repetitions. And this may seem very, very light at first, and it usually is very light at first, but remember, we're trying to build motor pattern, we're trying to move and build proper motor skills, so then over time, once you build a little bit of muscle, you are going to have that motor pattern built, so when you get to those heavier weights with that bigger muscle, right, you're going to be able to move properly through it, versus if you started out day one lifting very, very heavy and not in proper technique, you're always going to lift with improper technique, which isn't very efficient at all in getting the best strength and hypertrophy or muscle growth results. So starting with the bar, 5 sets of 5, and then what you're gonna do, it's very simple, but it's slow and steady. So you're gonna keep adding 5 pounds on each side every single week, right? And if you're doing a leg-based movement, you can probably bump it up and do about 10 pounds extra on each side every single week. But for upper body, I usually recommend 5 pounds, and this is from the bench press. So let's say you start with the bar, that's 45 pounds. Next week, you are bumping it up, adding 5 pounds on each side, right? So this is going to then be 55 pounds, 55 pounds. And then you're gonna get to a point where you keep adding weight every single week, but maybe you fail a week and you only get 4 sets of 5 repetitions, and then your last set or your 5th set, you only get 4 repetitions, right? So 4 sets of 5 reps, and then your last set, you're only getting 4 repetitions. So that would be technically considered a failure. If this happens for you, then what you would do is decrease the weight by 10%, a small percentage, and then you're gonna build back up again. And essentially, you're gonna repeat this process until you fail multiple weeks and multiple times in a row. And this might not happen for a while. You may be able to really, really boost your overall results and push this for a long time. But usually after 2 to 3 months is when a lot of people start to notice this taper off. When it comes to strength, right? This is just getting the strongest version of yourself. And strength and muscle mass usually don't go hand in hand, but when you're starting out, you may notice initially you're getting a lot stronger, but you're not building a lot of muscle. And this is because strength comes on very rapidly. Muscle takes a little bit longer to build. So from the looking at of a 100 pounds example, say you started with the bar and then you got all the way up to 100 pounds and then you failed that week. You got 4 sets of 5 repetitions, and then your last set, oh, you tried so hard, but you only got 4 repetitions. So what can you do in this case? You would then, if you were lifting 100 pounds, for example, 10% of that drops you down to 90 pounds. You would then hit 5 sets of 5 for 90 that week, go up to 95 the next week, go up to 100 and try to surpass it again. If you did fail it again, you could maybe try to go back down once again and then taper up one more time. But this could be a point where you actually need a more advanced program to get better. If this happens, you can potentially go to the next thing and try out this program and then maybe go back to a 5x5 program over time. So what you're going to do in this sense is a hypertrophy program. So hypertrophy is building muscle, and you realistically should go through cycles of doing strength and hypertrophy, all these different things, because hypertrophy, building muscle, will help you to be stronger, and being stronger can absolutely help you to build more muscle in the long term. So it's good to be prioritizing the specific aspects of fitness for different times. And for hypertrophy or building muscle, what I would do is start with a weight that is doable for 3 sets of 10. And this isn't a 3 sets of 10 where you get to your 10th repetition and you're like, that was so easy, I could literally do that to infinity, right? Your 10th repetition, you should be getting not like you're going to fail, but somewhat close to failure. So you want to have, maybe 3-4 repetitions left in the tank. You could even get up to 2 repetitions left in the tank. You want to be pushing hard, but you still want to have a few more reps left in you, right? And then once you get to that weight, you can ask yourself, can you hit that weight and repetition set for 2 consecutive workouts? So if you are doing the 100 pounds example on the bench press for just like the last time, can you lift 3 sets of 10 repetitions, back-to-back workouts for 100 pounds? Yes? Great. What we're going to do in this case is add 2 more repetitions to your next workout. We're going to try 3 sets of 12 repetitions. This may not seem like a lot, but you're adding 6 total more repetitions onto your overall workout. So a little bit more overall workload. And then 2 consecutive workouts. Can you hit it back to back? If you get to that point, add 2 more repetitions. Now you are at 3 sets of 14 repetitions. And what seemed like was small to begin with now is a lot, because you are doing 4 more repetitions from where you started out with. So you started out with 3 sets of 10. Now you're doing 3 sets of 14. If you look at that over that entire week, you have 12 more repetitions added to your workout. This is almost an entire another set if you think about it that way. So once you get to that point, you are then going to add some weight. So if you can hit 3 sets of 14 repetitions with that 100 pounds for an example, you're then going to add roughly 5 to 10 pounds, whatever you feel like you want to do, and then decrease back to 3 sets of 10. And the great thing about this, both of these programs, is that they can essentially be run to infinity, but realize that there will become a point where you might not be able to do this right. It's going to become very tough. And you can keep going up and back down and up and back down, but at some point you're going to need to maybe focus on just strength or just hypertrophy. The cool thing about this though is that doing strength workouts will build a little bit of muscle, and doing hypertrophy workouts or muscle building workouts will build a little bit of strength. They both work in tandem with each other, and they also can be both done on the same week, which is really, really cool. So if you can recover from it, you can kind of put both of these together. And once you max out your gains as a beginner in the gym for your respective exercises, this is what I would recommend doing, is having maybe one day that's kind of a strength day, and then one day that's kind of a hypertrophy day. So you have 2 days. And then you could maybe, once you get even more advanced, have 2 hypertrophy days, and then even more advanced, 2 strength, 2 hypertrophy for those specific movements. At the end of the day, just get in, push yourself a little bit, and try to keep getting better, and realize it's not going to be a straight line. It's going to be up, down, up, down, up, down, and then a slow trend line getting upward. So go ahead, drop a like if you got some value from that section. We got a lot of information in that, so go ahead and comment down below as well if you have any questions on that